had a couple of extra days, because you said you got into West Virginia prep last week. What's left to tighten up for you guys?
Yeah, I think, you know, the places that I've been fortunate to work at, people I work with, I think we've always done a really good job from like Wednesday to the end of the game. You know, you do a lot of physical part on the front end of the week. In the back end, there's a lot more mental, you know, so, you know, today we had what we call a one reel. A lot of people do it. We just kind of play the game on both sides of the ball, make calls, make checks. You know, we do that on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then we'll do another one on Friday night. But we try to close all the way until the game starts. We try to take advantage of every opportunity that we have.
Steve, and then Vince.
Just wondering, when you look at Greer and Sills, that pass-catch combination, what is it that sets them apart that's made them so effective this year?
Well, I think first of all, they've got a really good scheme. They keep you spread out. They're balanced on offense. They got, in their throw game, they've got a lot of screens, a lot of RPOs. They got max protections. They got traditional drop back. They've got really good spacing. They got an understanding of how to protect the quarterback, and you can tell the quarterbacks, whether it was Greer or any of the backups that played last year, they had an understanding of, you know, where the pressure was coming from, how they were being protected. They do a really nice job. So that speaks to the coaching that Coach Hogerson's done. And, you know, so, and on the outside, they've got guys that have done a good job recruiting guys that can get open, can win 50-50 balls. They're good after the catch. So, got a really good bunch of wide receivers, and obviously the quarterback does a good job.
Vince and David Owen.
Coach, do you think it's an advantage for you to have started classes later than West Virginia, and which kicked in that 20-hour rule, and them have more of those type of days?
You know, I'm not very familiar with when they started school. I think there's a lot plays into, you know, to having an advantage when they get out for summer school, you know, because that's different all over the country. I know there's some schools that's not even in session right now. The schools are on quarters, you know, but maybe they went through at, you know, at the beginning of fall camp. So I don't know. I'm just going to worry about what we got here and how we can kind of optimize, you know, our potential.
Jeremy, do you have any clarity on the quarterback front? And also, does what a player does in a game mean more to you than what he does in practice? Like, how do you compare those?
I can pose this last part of the question.
Does what a player does in a game, does that mean more to you than what you see on the practice field? Like, do you emphasize those things more when you think about assessing them moving forward?
Well, most of the really good players, you know, there's some point in practice that you realize that they've got ability. You know, in my time, most of the best players have been some of the best practicers. So very rarely do you see a guy that practices really bad. Number one, that he gets an opportunity to play. You know, most folks who don't practice very good, they don't get to play, so nobody ever knows what they can do. So, but, you know, you do see some guys that maybe kind of respond and make some plays in the game, but I don't know if I answered your question or not.
Do you have anything on the quarterbacks also?
No, we're not. I mean, y'all can ask me that on Saturday or Sunday the next time.
Patrick.
Jeremy, do you, on the offensive line, are you guys more like, are you going to stick with 5 and kind of go with that, or are you going to play more than 5 guys on the offensive line?
Well, I think that we've got several guys that probably deserve to play, which probably is a good thing because that means we've got a little bit of depth. So I'm sure we'll play more than 5 guys. I think we probably need to, and I think we've got guys who have earned the right to play.
Other questions? Wes and Jesse.
I mean, if any of those the wide receivers that y'all have, if any of those guys really help themselves in camp, I know that we talked about the quarterbacks and other things a lot, but how have the wide receivers overall done? And do you feel like a couple of guys there have emerged?
You know, there's several guys that are competing out there. You know, first of all, Jawan wasn't there in the spring, you know, and he's been banged up in fall camps on the last week. You've kind of seen a guy that's hungry to play, and the guy hadn't played in a while. You know, Callaway hurt his knee this summer, so it's a little bit limited early on in camp. You know, Palmer, you know, is a guy that has taken a lot of reps. Brandon Johnson, so George Murphy, so Cedric Tillman, so Tyler Bird, a lot of those guys. So I feel confident in our wide receivers. I think they compete really hard every day. They compete out on the perimeter, and you know I've liked what I've seen in the last week.
Jesse and Rob.
Jeremy, I know Brandon Kennedy returned to practice yesterday, so are you guys fully healthy really heading into this game? Is there anybody that's going to be unavailable on Saturday?
Well, I would say probably in football you never have a team. Once you start, you never have a team that's fully healthy, you know, but everybody's going to play.
Coach, what are one or two things that your experience that are kind of unique to the first week, first game that you worry about popping up? You know,
But you know, I was talking to my brother the other day, so he's a head coach for the first time. They played last week. We were talking about his game, and he said at 6 o'clock his principal come up to him and asked him, said, "Have you seen the officials?" He said, "No, I hadn't." And he goes, "Well, you did call and make sure we got officials for this game?" He said, "No, I thought you did that." So we kind of got a chuckle out of that. I'm glad I don't have to set up the officials for this game.
I think last time we asked you who would be in the booth, who'd be on the side, I don't think that had been settled yet. Who will be in the booth for your staff, and how long is that been settled?
Well, we probably didn't really settle it until the last couple of days, just figuring out exactly. You got all these new rules, you know, used to there was no rules, so you could put anybody wherever you wanted to put them, and now we've got rules that you know, you can only have so many headsets, you can only have so many guys that can talk. You got to be a certain age or a certain amount of years out of college before you can, or to be in the booth, you know. So it takes a pretty good while to figure out all the rules, but I think we've got it figured out now.
Vince.
Coach, what was the thought process over here, thinking on not scrimmaging this past weekend heading into this game?
The thought process on it?
Yeah.
Well, anywhere I've ever coached, we've never scrimmaged a week before the first game. So you got 2 fall scrimmages, you start prepping and have a normal practice week.
Corey.
Coach, having been around this league for so long, it's well documented. What are you looking forward to most out of getting back this Saturday?
What's the most I'm looking forward to?
Yeah, what are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking forward to see how well our staff has prepared our team. Is our team going to compete the way we want them to compete? Kind of all the intangibles that we're looking for. You know, you've been working for 9 months trying to build a team that, you know, that you kind of have an idea of what kind of identity you want them to have, but what they put out on the field, how they play, all that kind of, you kind of get an opportunity. It's the first time that you get a chance to show who they are. So I'm looking forward to see it.
Last couple of West.
Jimmy, you've coached a lot of college football games. I guess this will be, as a head coach, you know, for the first one. Going into a game as maybe a defensive coordinator versus a head coach, how many more things are on your plate kind of mentally, you know, like a checklist of things you want to make sure are going into a game as compared to the past games?
You know, probably I would say a whole lot, just from the standpoint of travel, you know, itineraries, dress, you know, academics, the whole thing, things that, you know, that anybody, if you're in charge of an entire program, there's more to it than just a small part. So, but I've got really good guys working for me. You know, these guys do a fantastic job, so which allows me to coach, which is what I want to do.
Jesse.
Jeremy, just kind of a follow-up to an earlier question there. You guys, you like the way your team was responded from how you challenged them in the spring, the off-season. How do you kind of expect them to handle any sort of adversity they may face in week 1 against West Virginia?
Well, from what I've seen, I like what I've seen out of our guys, okay? From where we were at 9 months ago to where we're at today, physically and mentally, I like the direction we're headed. What am I gonna see on Saturday? I don't know. If I knew that, we wouldn't play the game probably, you know? So, we'll see. That's the whole reason we do what we do. You get an opportunity and everybody gets to see when the lights come on, how you're gonna perform, how you're gonna handle adversity. So,
Anything else? Ryan, last one there.
You mentioned Monday you hadn't made a decision on the punter. Have you guys settled on what you'll do there, and is there a chance you use both in this game?
yeah, I would say both guys will probably get.
All right, thank you, Coach.